How about this? I want you to be my date at the prom, and I want you to be my girlfriend too.
Could have been mine, but now
Nick just asked you out.
She said she'd think about it.
What's wrong with that?
If she has to think about it, then it's a no.
Not necessarily. There's no school today. The staff is meeting about how to handle this new virus thing.
Do you still need a teacher?
You're an amazing musician, and I want you to be really confident in this role. What happened?
I just don't think they're really happy. You guys need a real music teacher, okay? I think writing a song is a great idea. What do you want it to say? I know you guys are going through a lot. I have an idea. I'm gonna log on a Zoom every evening, tune in, and I'll be there playing. So you don't have to be alone anymore.
Hey, welcome back, guys. You're not going to believe this show. Troy, let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard of Never Alone?
I had not, no.
Did you look at it, though? Did you see it?
I did, yes.
It was amazing, wasn't it?
Fantastic. Got to tell the story. Got to tell the story behind the story.
So we're not even going to talk about Never Alone, okay? So it's a teaser, guys.
Which is a movie, by the way.
Oh, it is a movie, okay. Yeah. No, we're going to talk about the director, okay? Paul Bunch. Not Brunch, Bunch. This guy's a pretty amazing guy, or very amazing guy. Wouldn't you say, Troy?
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to getting into his history because I think that will also kind of segue into the work he's doing currently, and I think that's important to know.
So, guys, this is Paul. Hey, Paul.
Hello.
How you doing today?
I am fantastic.
Hey, you are, by the way.
Thank
and
you.
I will tell you, we really appreciate you coming down today.
Yeah.
And we're super excited about your movie,
Yep.
Never Alone. But before we get into that, and you all are going to love this movie, I want to talk about you. And as a writer and director, and I want to talk about where you came from and what's your backstory.
Okay. Sure. First of all, let me say thank you for inviting me down, man. This is an awesome place to do a show. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Paul Bunch, who the hell is Paul Bunch? So I grew up in a very interesting, eclectic family. My mother and father were show people.
Nice.
Jack Bunch and Bonnie Bunch. They met at the Pasadena Playhouse when they were both 16. And they studied acting. My mother was a ballerina. My father was a writer. They went through acting school, dance school. They ended up doing kind of a vaudeville act. They were known as Bonnie and Brooks, and they traveled around in Winnebago for years.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Cool.
Until my mother got sick of them and divorced them.
Well, that happens.
Yes, God bless them. So I was one when that happened. Sometime after their vaudeville shows, they divorced. But so I was 1 years old, and my mother decided it was a very strange time in our history, and it was a couple of years after the Watts riots. And my mother was a very socially conscious woman.
Now, how many kids are there?
So I'm the youngest of 7 kids.
Okay, so let's get that straight.
She was an Irish Catholic.
And she's divorced, and all the kids go with her?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
My father insisted.
You're a caravan kid.
Of course he did.
You're a caravan kid.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very loving household. My dad was amazing. But that's what happened. So my mother decided at that time to kind of take a step forward and integrate on her own. And so she moved 7 white kids into South Central.
Oh, nice.
So I didn't.
What year was this?
So I'm 1, and so it's 60. I'm gonna say 7, something like that.
Okay.
So yeah, man, I didn't know other white people existed until I got to high school.
Nice.
So it was just really a beautiful, and I want to stick up for my old neighborhood in this way, that people say South Central and they immediately think of the gangs, and that existed for sure. But there was a lot of beautiful families. There was beautiful families who helped us, who took it. Like the lady across the street, Ms. Grisby, blind, beautiful black lady from the South who babysat the kids for free because my mom was working. And
Awesome.
she taught us to plant flowers and listen to jazz music. So there's a lot of beautiful families in South Central as well.
You know, the sad thing about that is that the media wants to portray it as just bad, bad, bad. And it's mostly good, good, good.
Well, when's the last time you saw a movie that portrayed South Central as, you know, roses and, you know, flowers and skipping down the street? You don't.
Maybe Paul's going to make one. Who knows?
Maybe you will.
I'm certain of that.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm certain of that. So we grew up, even though we were in this tough neighborhood. My father, it was a really weird time because as I was getting a little older, 12, 13, my dad would just show up in a limousine. And there would go my credibility, right? I would be playing street football, you know, and a limousine would pull up and honk the horn, and the guys would look like, "Who the hell is that?" And I'm like, "That's my dad."
Nice.
So I'd hop in the car. My mom, he would drive my mother crazy. Because he would go, "Hey, I'm taking him to Atlantic City." And so I would be 13 years old I would be the assistant stage manager doing Pal Joey at the Claridge Hotel in Atlantic City. This was my upbringing.
Well, you just became the coolest guy on the planet right there.
It felt like a lot of work at the time.
Yeah.
Unpaid work, by the
Yeah,
way.
but now it doesn't, does it?
So your
No.
dad remained in the business, obviously, because he was picking you up and he was doing
The whole
okay.
time. Yeah, the whole time he kept working. So he never, my father was one of those guys, he just never got his big break, but he has this amazing body of work, and I carry the torch for him.
Nice.
Still trying to make it.
Nice. So what happened after that? Where
So,
did we go?
yeah, so, so 14, 14 when I write my first, really attempt to write a screenplay, and it was a bit of a
Okay,
mess.
wait. Back up, Paul. So 14, trying to write a screenplay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn how to spell at 14, so that's pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
an inspiration to all you folks out there.
Well, where did inspiration come from? I mean, is that from your dad or is this 'cause of-
Absolutely.
Okay.
My father was a writer, and when I would travel with him, I would just have lots of time hanging out with older people, and that's kind of where my mind drifted to. It started fooling around with ideas, and I'd sit on writing sessions, and I'd hear my dad secretly, under a different name, wrote for a soap opera, which I don't remember the name of it. Sure. It was a popular one, but for 7 years he wrote the entire show for a soap opera, and he would go up he had a house in Sierra Madre, and he would go up into this little crow's nest that he turned into an office, and he would lock himself in there for 3 days, come down, and some person would pick up the script from him, and off they went.
They call that mailbox money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he wrote it under a different name, right? So anyway, I was as inspired as a writer. And my father was a really tough person when it came to, if you say you're a writer, let's see it, right? And so I was getting hardcore producer's notes at 14, like literally, like, no, this is crap. Try it again. And so I did a lot of writing in my spare time and sold my first script when I was 19 to Henson Films.
Yeah, Paul, it's kind of funny. It's like you as soon as it came back to my mind, you're talking about your dad editing it.
Yeah.
We used to send letters when we were in grade school to our grandparents who were both teachers.
Yeah.
They would send our letters back, all marked up in red, spelled wrong, incorrect. I'm like,
Sure.
I was a kid. Come
No,
on.
but for Paul, that was a blessing. That
Oh, absolutely.
your dad was like that because it's a teachable moment.
For sure.
Right.
And I'll tell a brief side story. Do I have time?
Please.
Yeah.
So when I remember my father went off to do a show in Italy, and he came back. I was I think 18 at the time, and when he got back, I was house sitting, and I had some friends, and we had decided to start a band. And so when he came back after about 3 weeks, I told my father, "Hey, Dad, I started a band." And he was like, "Really?" He's like, "Well, and what do you do in the band?" I was like, "I'm the lead singer."
Sweet.
Now, my dad knew me pretty well, and he said, "Great, let's get in the car." And I'm like, "Where are we going?" He goes, "We're going to go down to Debbie Reynolds Studios, and you're going to sing for my musical director."
Oh, Debbie Reynolds Studios. How cool is that?
So we go down, true story. The whole time there, I'm going, "Dear God, what have I done?" And so we get there, and there's this old Jewish guy, Sid, super cool guy. He's at the piano, and he's looking at me, it's like shaking his head, because he knew it was coming. So he's like, "What are you going to sing for us?" And I go, "I don't know." And he's like, "Do you know any Billy Joel?" And I'm like, "Maybe." And he's like, "How about Honesty?" Not an easy song to sing.
No.
So he starts playing, and the first thing is I missed the starting cue, and he's like, I'll count you in. So he counts me in, and he's, honesty. And he goes, hold it. He goes, hit this note, ding, la, ding, la. And he goes, Jack, your son is tone deaf.
Your dad set you up on that one.
So he's tone deaf.
Yeah.
He's house sitting.
Yeah.
And he's what you said you do? You're in your band.
Yeah.
He's a writer at 18. Yeah.
It's like,
Perfect.
So there was a silent drive to lunch after that, and I was furious with that. And so we ate some pizza in silence, and it was somewhere around the end of that meal, he said, so you're going to go back to writing class, right? And I was like, yeah, definitely.
but you know what? I mean, apparently you definitely loved your father, or love your father, and it seems to me that those teachable moments made you the man you are today, right?
It certainly got me away from wasting some time, and
Sure.
and I really love to write. Another quote from my father was like, whatever you say you are, show the universe every day.
Amen.
And it'll treat you as what you say you are. If you don't do those things, then the universe doesn't give you those things that a writer would get.
You know, we just did a podcast, and we were talking about New Year's resolutions, and I said, resolutions are bullshit. You've got to make a commitment to yourself and to your people. This is what I'm going to do, period. You know,
And you start small, little
Yeah.
pieces, take the,
going.
yeah, absolutely.
Sure, so I write every day.
So at 19, you got paid for your first gig.
I did. Henson Films, it was called The Sacramento Show. So it was optioned by Henson Films, which later got bought out by Disney. And I'm still chasing that damn screenplay because they never did anything with it. But Disney doesn't give up anything they ever buy.
Is that the Jim Henson?
It was
Muppet?
original Jim Henson Films, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
But I got to jump back still a little bit. I mean, you're talking 70s in South Central. Mm-hmm. I mean, what was inspiring you? What were you writing? Was it your environment that was helping you out with your writing? Or did you kind of go into like dreamland and think, oh, what would it be like being over there? What was inspiring you at that time?
That's a great question, man. I think more than anything, it was. I don't want to go dark on this show, but there are a lot of painful times in South Central.
Absolutely.
And pain.
Pain is part of the process, bro.
It is. And so as a young man, when you endure kind of like extreme, odd, painful scenarios, you think more about them. And it was some extreme scenarios that our family had to deal
I
with.
would guess as a white kid, you probably got your ass kicked a lot.
Pretty regularly. Yeah, I still hold a grudge against the TV show Roots. Because it was not pleasant
And
walking
white
home
men
from
can't
school.
jump.
Well, before Roots, nobody knew anything about slavery. They were like, what?
Yeah, they were looking at me like, you son of a bitch.
You're the guy.
Yeah. So yeah, that was tough. But look, again, these things all kind of, looking back at them, are still kind of mysteries to me. You know, having lived through that, I get people all the time who say to me, "You should write a movie about your life," and I would never do that because I lived it, and I never want to. I don't want to go through that again. You know. So yeah, I aspire to other cool, inspiring things that like. I'm very Pollyannish, you know what I mean?
Nice.
I tend to write things that make people feel good, and I recently noticed that a lot of my characters are the underdog. You know, I like to write stories about the underdog overcoming and doing normal human things that are equate to something miraculous, right?
Antagonistic kind of a point
For
of view.
sure, yeah. That's what I enjoy.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that what Marvel and Spider-Man and all those guys? I mean,
Absolutely.
Isn't that what
That's it.
they're writing about?
For sure. Yep.
They are, but you know what? I'm still not into all that. I wasn't a Marvel guy. I wasn't a comic book guy when I was a kid, so I'm not on board with all of those.
You know,
I know millions are. Don't get me wrong. It's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, I am.
yeah, I
ya?
was too.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely.
Except for when
got into that
ScarJo,
program.
when she plays anything she wants, and
Right.
I'll watch that.
No, but Troy's into more porn than.
Oh dear. All right.
Just watch our podcast on resolutions.
Yeah, that's your resolution. Less porn this year. No, but you know what, Paul? I think it's really important for us and our viewers to understand who you are, that you have this amazing movie, Never Alone. And guys, it has to do with this this incredible, despicable thing called COVID, which I don't know how real all this stuff is or how fake it is, or the Wuhan lab, or who's right or who's wrong. All I know is a lot of people died, and it affected everybody on the planet, right?
Everybody.
Correct.
And so that's why we have Paul here today. We're going to be talking about this movie, which you're going to have to run out and see. Never Alone. We'll talk to you next time on Happening Now.